All right. We are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Welcome back, everyone. This is Mike November Whiskey coming to you from somewhere in northern Japan. I believe we're in Sapporo tonight, if I'm not mistaken. We are back after about a week break doing our around-the-world journey. Last time I was on Twitch, we were streaming across the pond, where I flew in real time from Amsterdam to Boston. With 1,000 other pilots and over 200 air traffic controllers on VATSIM. It was absolutely awesome. A really fun 7 hours of my life. But we're kind of back. It's a lot quieter. There's no ATC available in this particular part of the world where we're at right now. And you may notice that we're not back in the Airbus. We're actually back in the Boeing. And that's because if you caught the stream last week, I was having some serious FMS issues on final approach into Boston. I was not able to capture the ILS for the life of me, and the more I fiddled with the autopilot, the more it just was not doing what I wanted it to do. I chalked it up to a bug with the heavy division mod, which is what we're using here. We're in the development version. But as it turns out, when I looked at the replay and I checked through all my flows and all my procedures and all the things that I did, I failed to put in the friggin' ILS frequency into the FMS. So that was just a serious pilot error on my part. I'm so used to the Airbus where it just does it for you automatically. You just have to check that the frequency is there. So I thought, why not? This is the longest leg that's left on our route around the world. Let's try to redeem ourselves. Let's fly the Boeing one last time before we go back to the Airbus and see if we can actually do the approach correctly. We're going to try to mimic what Boston ATC did to me on the way in. They flew me on the Ocean 5 arrival into Boston, but then vectored me to final, which required me to get off of LNAV and to vector by heading. So we'll do the same on our way to, where are we going today? Hold on. We're going to Uniform Hotel Papa Papa. I believe that's in Russia. So that's where we're flying today. We'll fly the ILS, we'll vector ourselves in, and we'll see if we can actually do this correctly this time. All right. So with that preamble all done, let's hop into our cockpit where we are cold and dark. Here we are. All right. Doing our initial flows, let's get battery online, connect to external power. And what else do we want to do? Get some overhead panel lighting going. Get seatbelts to auto. The hydraulic panel is mostly an op, so we don't need to worry about that. We'll get our fuel pumps on for now. We'll keep the centers off because there is a bug with turning the centers on before you actually turn the plane on. And we shouldn't need anti-ice, but we'll keep those on auto because I believe that is just how you leave it when you don't need to worry about anti-icing. The 787 is kind of intelligent that way. Nav and logo, just let folks on the ground know that we're here. And I think that looks good for the overhead. Everything else is pretty much inoperative anyway in this current mod. Oh, but one thing we did forget to do, we want to start aligning our ILSs. And we should get a message, time to align, about 10 minutes. We'll see how we do with the initial setup. We may just manually advance that if we don't spend 10 minutes in pre-flight. Getting everything else set up here. Screens look fine. Time is correct. Right dates. Gear is down, indicating down. Auto brake will set when we're ready for pushback, or when we're ready for taxi rather. And everything up here is fine for now. We'll just set our barra to hectopascals. And yeah. Everything else looks fine. We'll set up the we'll set up the autopilot when we do our departure brief. We'll do the box in a sec. Make sure all of this is set correctly. Squawking tonight, since I think 7,000 is correct for non-US transponder codes when you don't have ATC available. So we'll leave it at 7,000. Radio will want to be on 122.8, which is Unicom. So we'll just tune to that. And everything else looks good. Transponder mode, we'll just bring it to standby for now. And yes, everything else that I can play with looks like they're in a good position. All right. So with that all loading up, let's take a look at our flight plan. And let me actually just pull that up so you guys can take a look with me. So bear with me 1 second, just going to add an extra window capture source. Yep, that is correct. Alright, so let's just reduce that in size a little bit. There we go, that looks pretty good. Alright, so just to brief our flight plan, we are in the 787-10. We are at Romeo Juliet Charlie Charlie. We're heading to Uniform Hotel Papa Papa, and we are call sign Ukraine International 9084. Our alternate is Uniform Hotel Sierra Sierra. Cost index of 10. Cruise flight level 390. Tropopause 37,000 feet. Good tailwind of 45 knots. About 2 hours in the air. And coming down, looking at fuel, we're looking at 23,000 tons. Never know how to read that properly. So that's all good. Shear rates, pretty mild. Turbulence expected. We're flying the Soshu 1 departure and the Samek 5 November arrival. And we are going routes, taking runway 19 right. So let's compare that to our weather report to see if that makes sense. So departure airports, 19 right, and wind is 160, 19 knots. So pretty gusty. That'll be a nice kind of headwind on takeoff, but that is the appropriate runway. Good visibility, higher ceilings, temperature 9, dew point 1, QNH 1012. So I will just adjust the baro to 1012. We were just about there. Okay. Alright, so that is good for that. Let me pull down the flight plan and we'll brief our charts. So Soshu 1 departure, I just want to remember that. Alright, Soshu 1. So let's open up Navigraph here. And flights, still has my Boston flight in there from SimBrief. And there's our routing for tonight. That looks pretty sweet. Looks pretty good. Let's pull up some charts. Pull up the airport charts. Do we want anything more detailed than this? This is good enough. I think 19 right, so very short taxi actually. So we'll just pull out of the gate and head direct to Alpha. We could just go straight down to Alpha 1 via Hotel 1. Very nice. And just confirm it is 19 right that we're expecting. Yes. Okay. So Sid, Soshu 1 departure. There it is. Let's see what this is all about. So 19 right for Soshu 1. Climb on heading 182 to at or above 500. Direct to Che VOR. And that's it. That seems to be it. Just want to make sure we get to 500 feet. And then we make our turn, which will be very quick. Alright, so we'll want to get Charlie Hotel Echo into the Navrad rather. And initial climb, what do we think? I think if we look at our routing on the exit here, where does it have us go? Looks like we'll do a left turn to get on Yankee 116. And to the left of the VOR, we'll want to be at 4,500 feet or above. So we'll just do the initial climb out to 5,000 feet. That sounds good. Alright, so we'll want to set up the glare shield then. I already forgot what the heading was. 182? 182. Okay. Oop. (182) and initial climb out of 5,000 feet. And indicated airspeed, we'll probably just do that managed. Alright. So I think that is fine. What else do we want to do here while we're waiting for the IRSs to get aligned? I think we're pretty good. The flows are not as complicated in the Heavy Division 787, just not everything is modeled yet, so setup is pretty easy. I want the IRSs to be aligned before we hit the box, just so we can get the accurate position in it data in there. So we'll just kill some time for 2 minutes. Take a look at SimBrief, see what traffic we have around here. And we are all by ourselves. So while we wait for those IRSs to align, I will talk a bit about this livery that you see me in tonight. I'm in Ukraine International 984. I was originally going to be flying Aeroflow when I initially conceived of this around the world journey, but because of recent events in the Ukraine, it didn't feel right to fly the national airline of Russia, even in the sim. And we do unfortunately have to fly to Russia. It's the only way to get back to North America from here in 2-hour sprints. So I thought it would be nice to fly the Ukraine International livery into Russia. And if you are interested in supporting charities that are providing supplies to Ukraine, the one I support is called Project Hope. If you're on Twitch, if you type in the command !Ukraine, you'll see how you can donate to the cause. But just want to provide some context on why we're flying this livery tonight, since we are heading to Russia. Alright, 40 seconds to IRS alignment, and then we'll complete our pre-flight and get out of here. Let's take another look at this departure chart for relevant information. Transition altitude 14,000 feet, that's good to know. Everything else looks fine. Let's take a look at runway lengths. I didn't look at that yet. 3 kilometers exactly, so decent length. We'll do a 10% derate on our takeoff thrust. That should be plenty. And the Asobo aircraft takes off like a rocket in this in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So no problems with our climb power as well. All right, so IRSs are aligned. Let's go ahead and get the box set up. So, right engines, right model, that all looks good. We can't change it anyway, but we had to position in it, copy that GPS position, set the IRS position. Our reference airport is Romeo, Juliet, Charlie, Charlie. And we are at gates, oh god, what gate are we at? This is a procedural, oh no wait, nope, there is a number there. We're at gate 8. This never works. Usually when you put a gate here, you'll get the coordinates, but the mod is not that advanced yet. And our set heading, we are facing 250 degrees. 250. Alright. And going to the routing page, we can pull in our route from SimBrief. So we'll do that. And we'll also pull in our weights and balances, which is nice. Alright, so that is all done. Route is in there. Romeo, Juliet, Charlie, Charlie to Uniform Hotel, Papa, Papa. Flight number 984. Runway 19 right, that's correct. Our gross weight is 183.7. Just going to quickly check that against the flight plan. And 183. Yeah, that tracks. We're expected to burn about half a ton of fuel on taxi, but we probably won't. It's a very short taxi tonight, but that looks correct. We'll activate that flight plan, execute. Oh, it looks good. We'll check it on the screen in a sec. Alright, so performance in it. This is all pulled from SimBrief, so I assume this is all correct. Just quickly check. Zero fuel weight, 160.6. Reserves, 4.1. Yep. And cruise center of gravity, that's all calculated for us. That looks fine to me. Fuel, 23.1. Yep, that all looks good. Thrust limit. So outside air temperature. Well, this is the flex thrust, so we'll just do that automatically. We'll do takeoff 1, and let's do climb 2. That should give us a nice gentle climb. There's not a lot of terrain around here, so not too worried about running into anything. All right, and then finally takeoff. We'll do flaps 10 tonight. That's our D rates. That's our runway. So now we'll just calculate our V speeds, and that should be the end of pre-flight. Yep, there it is. Pre-flight completes. V1 of 125, rotate of 139. These are all really low because we're also pretty light because this is a very short flight. We are very underweight for a typical long-haul flight in the 787. All right, next up is depart arrival. So let's program our departure. We are on runway 19 right, which is correct, and we are looking for Soshu 1 departure. Go ahead and execute that. And now is a good time to check the plan and kind of step through to make sure that all looks good. So there's our 500 feet mark. There's our turn at the Charlie Hotel Echo VOR, and then we are on our way on our pre-programmed course, and that all looks fine to me. Excellent. All right, what else do we want to do? Let's take a look at Vnav here. Econ speed 310, that's fine. No speed restrictions that we need to be aware of. Transition altitude is 14,000, so we'll get that in. All right, what else? We want to do NavRAS. We want to put in Charlie Hotel Echo for the VOR on the way out. Oh, we didn't like that. Oh, that's right. This mod wants the actual frequencies. So let's look up that frequency real quick. 116.9. In the Airbus, I just get to put in the 3-letter identifier, but we're not there yet on the heavy division. But you know what? It picks it up once it detects that it's there. Interesting. All right, that looks good to me, and I think we're ready to go on the box. All right, so now let's get our pushback. How do I deselect heading hold? That's really annoying. I accidentally clicked this and I see heading selected on the PFD here, but we'll worry about that once we're rolling. Okay, let's get our tug connected. Let's plan our pushback. And we'll want to get to... Alright, there's Alpha 1. So we'll just want to push back right here. Oh boy. It didn't like that. Sometimes bugs out on me when I am too aggressive with the selection. Alright, should... that usually fixes it. There we go. That's how you reset it. That's how you reset it. Alright, that looks pretty good. Oh, come on. It really doesn't like it. That's good enough. All right, we got it in. Let's do it. And while we're getting that, let's get the APU rolling. We'll watch our systems page. Make sure that APU gets up to speed. You can hear it spooling up. Interesting, the tug is not moving. Curious. Let's try this one last time. Come on. There we go. So we got the tug attached. Now we're being lifted. Alright, hopefully this unlocked it. Wait for that guy to stop moving, and we'll try it again. Alright, we'll just have to do it the manual way, I guess. Yeah, so the pushback mod seems to be buggy tonight. I'm not sure what's changed. I'm hoping it's just the airport, because I haven't changed the add-on itself and there's been no Microsoft updates, but we will deal with it as we can. So we'll cancel plan pushback and we'll just rely on the manual. Alright, we're being lifted. That's a good sign. Alright, let's go ahead and disable the parking brake. And are we going to move? Alright, hit reverse. Come on. There we go. There we go. Alright, so we'll take this opportunity to get the engines into start mode. And we'll turn off the cutoffs. We'll set it to run. And engines are coming to life. And we'll just have to pop out here and make sure we just steer ourselves in the right direction. Get the tug speed a bit faster. Yeah, so it seems the manual pushback is working here, but the pre-planning was not. Better view of our surroundings. That's the weather we'll be flying into today. It looks pretty stunning. Hold. Stop pushback. Parking brake. Down we go. There they go. All right. And startup looks good. We're at the idle N1. So we can go ahead and shut off our APU. And just want to look at our fuel real quick. There is nothing in the center tank, so we'll leave the center tanks off. No problem there. All right, so let's get ourselves ready for taxi here. We'll set our auto brake to RTO for takeoff. We'll set our takeoff flaps to 10. Get our taxi lights on. And that is pretty good for now, I think. Okay, great. Get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. All right, great. So let's parking brake off and let's roll. Let's get to our runway. Just getting our navigation screen over here, and we'll clean up the engine screen so we're not as distracted by it. Heading to Alpha 1, which will give us the most runway. And we'll stop at the hold short and do our final preps for takeoff. Alright, that's our runway check. We'll hold here for 1 sec. Alright, let's get our landing lights on. Strobes, all those lights can come on now. And let's activate our Vnav, and we'll have heading selected for takeoff. Although actually, if I do LNav, that's armed. Because you would normally want to see this as toga, but because I accidentally hit the selection knob beforehand, it kind of bugged out a little bit. But that is no problem. Alright, let's get this view. Let's see. About 5 miles is good for now for takeoff. Runway heading is selected. Initial climb is correct. Okay, that all looks good. Flight directors are on. Do our pre-takeoff checklist, make sure everything is good. Takeoff flaps, speed brakes, instruments, landing lights, strobe lights, parking brakes. Pre-takeoff checklist is complete. And we'll do our video call. Sapporo traffic, Ukraine International 9084 is taking off runway 19 right. Sapporo traffic. Let's take the runway. Sometimes this happens if you set the auto brake. Kind of activates itself. There we go. And then there's toga. Okay. We'll just get straight on the runway. And we'll plan to activate autopilot after we pass through 500, not before. And we can do a rolling takeoff. Alright, straight on the runway, we'll get N1 to 40%, and then we'll activate toga. Thrust levers are full forward. You can feel that slight crosswind on takeoff. 100 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Maintain runway heading until 500 feet. Sometimes happens we're now at idle thrust, but autopilot is on. There we go. Just have to reset the auto throttle. Vnav, speed, thrust ref, LNav. And we are looking good. And once we get to acceleration altitude, which I think we just passed, we'll start speeding up. And we can start getting those flaps up. So passing flaps 5 to flaps 1, and flaps up. Nice view out the window there. Alright, let's take a look. That's pretty much the end of our of our departure chart. We just passed the Charlie Hotel Echo VOR, so I'll go ahead and just close up Navigraph for now. So you can see how much the weather changed in a week. When we arrived here a week ago, if I recall, it was all snow covered. Still see snow to the north and to the west a little bit, but must have warmed up quite a bit. Alright, so that's some pretty gnarly clouds ahead, so I'll go ahead and get ourselves up to cruise a bit faster. Going up to 39,000 feet. Vnav speed, thrust ref, up we go. Inbound Asibe. And even in climb 2, our climb rate is absolutely bonkers. That's absolutely insane. It's like 4,000 feet per minute? No, that's ridiculous. Could be a function of how light we are, but that just doesn't feel like a correct model to me. Alright, LNAV is working because we are intercepting our path. Zoom out now, get a better look at what's ahead of us. See top of descent right there, about 50 and change miles from us. So because this is such a short flight, we'll want to be cautious about when to start our descent prep. But because we're ascending like a beast, we'll have plenty of time in cruise is my assumption. The weather looks absolutely nuts. 3080 Ti ultra settings, getting 66 frames per second right now. And we're quickly catching up to the snow. It's pretty stunning, actually. Ooh, boy. Hey, Mo Daddy, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. See the sim trying to reconcile the border of the snow down here. Regardless of, it still looks awesome. Look at the flex of the wings there. Ooh. Yep. Bumps. Definitely bumpy. Let's see if that was expected in our flight plan. On the climb. Not really. I mean, the winds appear relatively accurate. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, Mo Daddy. Oh my god. So it was a hard drive failure? Oh, Jesus. Was it one of those solid state drives or one of the older, I guess, traditional mechanical drives? Jeez, an oh God. I always thought that was one of the benefits of getting an SSD, is that you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. Alright, we're past transition altitude. We'll head to standard pressure. We could have done that before anyway when we were cleared to top a climb, but it's fine. Typically find there's just less to do in the 787, workflow-wise. We're not going to have a top of descent yet because we're still climbing. Kind of. Oh, were you able to recover it? Somewhat? Or do you have a new SSD? Oh, I just realized... Oh, apparently my mother's watching on YouTube. Hey Mom, if you're still watching, how's it going? For your reference, I'm flying the 787 tonight, which is a less realistic plane in this simulator than the A320 I usually fly. But this is what I flew last week across the pond, that crazy 7-hour flight, and I want to see if I can correct what I did wrong. So funny. Always nice to get the family supporting us. Alright, so this oscillating green line is our predicted top of climb. But with the winds and the turbulence we're hitting right now, it's kind of bumping all over the place. And as we get higher, you see our rate of climb is decreasing as the air gets thinner. And the tailwind component is also decreasing lift in the wings, so that's going to decrease our rate of ascent as well. So MoDaddy, of the 5 things that went wrong, was it all with the SSD, or did other things start going nuts as well? Oh, sorry. I was asking if You said like 5 things went wrong. Was it all with the SSD? Oh, look at this. This is another thing I'm not crazy about with the 787. When you hit a pretty significant turn in your flight plan, it just can't track it properly. But we can actually limit the bank to 10 degrees, and hopefully that will stabilize it a bit. Let's leave it there and see how it reacts. You can already see it's slowed down the oscillation. Oh, 5 things got saved. Oh my god. Oh, that's rough. Sorry to hear that. Well, regardless, good to see you back up and running at the very least. Alright, so we're nicely above this cloud layer here. Just going to take another look at our flight plan. I'll flash it on the screen as well. Take a look at the weather at our destination, see what we have to expect. So, this is, what is the date today? Okay, so this is current data. Looking at, oh, and they quote it in meters per second, just like China does. So wind is out of 240 at 4 knots. You just double it to convert it. Wind direction variable from 190 to 290. Good visibility, high ceilings, a bit chillier, QNH 1001. And they have runway information here. But it all looks good. Nothing to worry about weather-wise. Looks like they're predicting heavy showers and snow in the next 9 hours. But currently, nice and quiet. Still trying to get up there. Alright, so we have our top of descent there. You can see it coming through. And when are we expected to get there? So by Senor at 3:20 Zulu, so that's in about half an hour time. Is that right? No. That's an hour and a half from now. But since we're still climbing, this will get shorter as we increase speed. Our cruise speed is going to be Mach 0.85. We're definitely not traveling at that speed yet. Nice to see the weather radar is working in this mod. Still getting tossed around all over the place, but that tailwind factor is just crazy. That definitely explains why our climb rate is suffering, because it's just killing the lift in the wings. We were supposed to hit top of climb, let's see. According to the flight plan, it was anticipating it about 40 miles out of Bisiv. And it looks like we'll be somewhere after Bisiv at this point. Alright, so just checking the arrival runway 34 left versus the weather report. Alright, so that gives us a crosswind component, but the winds are pretty light, so not too worried about that. Cool. Yeah, so we'll just wait to get to top of climb, and then we will brief our arrival. We'll do a back-of-the-envelope calculation for where we think top of descent should be. And we'll also plan our own vectoring, because we're going to try to replicate what happened in Boston last week. To see if we can do the arrival correctly, we'll want to be able to vector ourselves and then intercept the ILS. We'll wait for top to climb. I'll take this opportunity just to tour the system pages, because they've modeled out a number of these quite nicely. So here's kind of a nice summary of hydraulics, APU, oxygen, liquid cooling, and any status messages, although nothing in the status messages work currently. Electrical systems, this doesn't seem to be correctly modeled just yet, because we should be seeing both engine generators working here, and the APU is turned off right now, so that should not be lit up. Hydraulics are just in op. Fuel, this definitely works. We have our center tanks off because there's no fuel in the center tanks. We're just running off of our wing tanks. Air is pretty cool. See, I think the bleed system in the Boeing is largely automated. Doors, of course. Gear page, temperatures, and door status. Flight controls. Just a digital version of a lot of the controls we have up here, because it's a redundancy thing. And maintenance and CB, both in op. But not too bad for a mod that is still very much in development. Yeah, checklists currently don't work. Com page in op. Info is just a mod dashboard, and CDUs in op. Still seem to be oscillating from side to side. But I'll just blame this crazy tailwind. It's just getting even stronger. Goodness. Alright, almost at the top of the climb there. Let's get another 2 minutes. There's definitely like just the feeling of unease in the heavy division mod versus the fly-by-wire. I just feel like something's going to fail. And this oscillating isn't really helping with that. It's a beautiful plane. It's nice and shiny and modern, but it's not quite there yet in Microsoft Flight Sim. Alright, we are approaching cruise speeds. We're at speed, Vnav path. Starting to level out. You hear the engine spooling back. There's our Mach speed, 0.847. We'll settle at 0.85. That's also partly why I took this plane tonight as well, because it's faster than the A320 by a little bit. The cruise speed of the A320 is about 0.78. So I think we're going to be shaving about 10 minutes off this flight by taking this plane instead. But I promise you, every flight there hereafter will be back in the fly-by-wire. Just had to redeem myself in this plane first. Alright, so now that we're at cruise and we're starting to settle, I expect the speeds to slowly adjust as the plane gets used to being up here. We've lost our calculated top of descent, which is interesting. Rather, I don't see that waypoint anymore. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there's top of descent at Senor. Well, let's see if that's correct. So we'll get a head start and we'll program in our arrival. We'll just assume that what's in our flight plan is correct. And that is anticipating the SAMIC 5 November arrival. So let's go to depart, arrive, go to arrive. Our approach will be ILS 34 left. And what is it? The SAMI 5 November. There it is. And transition. So I don't know what transition we should select. Let's take a look at the charts. There we are, and there's our destination. Go ahead and clear these charts. And pull up the charts for our destination. Let's get the taxi charts first. 10-9, single runway, super easy, coming in 34 left. We'll probably exit at Bravo and go straight in to the terminal, super easy. Nice and long runway. It's actually longer than the runway we took off on, so nice. Star, this is what we're interested in now. SAMIC 5 November. Here it is. So, SAMIC 5 November, so we'll be coming in from SAMIC between flight level 250 and 110. We'll be at 110 just so we can get the better views. And then we'll come here to Papa 004 at flight level 110. And looks like we then make a right turn to Papa 005, which is the initial approach fix. And now let's pull up the chart for ILS runway 34 left. Let's take a look at the RNAV approach real quick, actually. How is this different? There's the initial approach fix. Vertical guidance looks similar. Looks identical. Misapproach is different. Slightly. Alright, we'll just use this chart. That's fine. But yeah, so the initial approach fix is Papa 005. That'll be our transition. We're not coming in straight from Reno. So that's this then. Alright, go ahead and execute that. That pushed our top of descent forward a little bit, but we can kind of do a calculation ourselves. Ooh, what is happening? Making a pretty aggressive turn. LNAV, Vnav, path, speed. It seems to be tracking. Okay. That was strange. Alright, so that's in there, and let's just go to the NavRad, because this is where I messed up last time. I never put in the ILS frequency, and that's why we never captured it. So, we're not going to make that mistake again. We're going to put in 108.7. And let's hope this works. Okay, so that's first mistake remedied. We also want to simulate vectors to final. That's pretty easy. We'll just we'll fly to Papa 05, and at that point we'll just go into heading mode. And vector 254 degrees. It actually gives us the heading here. So we'll vector 254, and then vector ourselves again to intercept the localizer at about 45 degrees. So what's the runway heading here? 344. So we'll turn to 300 and intercept that way. That's the plan. That's the approach plan. Next up is to figure out when we should start our top of descent. So I like to get low early, especially when there's no traffic around. We don't need to keep up speed or anything. So we'll get down to flight level 110. So that is a flight level change of 28,000 feet. So we'll need roughly 115 miles to get down, assuming a normal 787 descent profile. I think this particular plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator drops like a rock, so that's probably very conservative. So let's call it 100 miles. So we'll need to figure out when we're 100 miles from Samek, and that will be our personal top of descent. So let's take a look at the legs. So 100 miles from Samek, that's hard to calculate from this view. Is there another way to do it in this FMS? Doesn't seem to be, and on the route data this just gives you times. So you could say, I guess, roughly halfway between Demot and Senor. Oh no, Samek is where we want to get down, sorry. Oh, and there's a discontinuity as well between Samek. That we don't need, so we'll delete that. Actually, no. Better way to do that is to click this, move it up, execute. Good. Oh, there's another discontinuity as well. Papa 05. Papa 001, which is the initial fix of the localizer here. So we'll move that up. Execute. Alright, that looks good. That looks good. Alright, so just when we're about, what, 30 miles away from Senor? We'll see how that works. Because the calculated top of descent is definitely after Senor. So our back of the envelope calculation is definitely conservative, assuming this is correct. But I don't want to assume that's correct. It's also good hygiene to keep your heading bug pointed in the direction you're flying. This also makes it easy if you have to go into heading mode quickly. You don't need to fiddle with the bug. But again, another nice thing about the Airbus, it does that for you. Still nice and stunning views. Let's take a look. Oh, that's cool. Which one am I looking for? None of these. There we go. Yeah. Nice peaceful interior shot. Take a look at our checklist here, see what to expect before top of descent. Got our nav radio sets, course setting, fuel quantity, auto brake setting. Yeah, I should do our auto brake real quick so we don't forget that. It's a nice long runway, so we'll do auto brake of 2. Make it nice and light. Alright, and we're still anticipating arrival in over an hour from now. This really is a longer flight. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. It says to top of descent in an hour from now. 575 nautical miles. Yeah, and that's a little bit ahead of Samek at Uniform Bravo. That's when that has us doing that. Alright, just looking for rad navs here. A few NDBs in the area. Oh, there are actually fixes on the approach. Interesting. There is a Ilizovo VOR, so we can replace this with Poro 1113.7. We're definitely too far to pick that up, but let's talk about descent as well. So we're going to be at 11,000 feet here. Yeah, we want to cross that at or above flight level 111. And here we can kind of get down to approximately 7,000 feet. And then from there, we have to get to 4,000 feet. So 7,000, 4,000, intercept localizer at 2,100. So what we'll do when we vector ourselves, we'll just clear ourselves down to 2,100. And then at some point we'll vector 45 degrees into the localizer signal. Turn on the approach mode, and pray to God it locks. Let's go take a peek at VATSIM. It's a quiet Saturday in East Asia. Seoul Tower is online. Australia has really nice coverage. Actually, at Adelaide Airport, every control is online. Delivery, ground, tower, center. So if you're flying VATSIM right now, head over to Australia, guys. That looks pretty good. And of course, the United States is lit up as well Friday evening. But if you want to fly in the daytime, Australia seems to be your best bet. So I've started using Volanta to track my flights. I should have done this the whole way through, because then I'd have a whole globe full of around the world journeys. And we'll do it from here on out, and it's super cool, because what I didn't realize before is that it's completely three-dimensional. So you can actually see your ascent and descent profiles. And it also tracks additional data like your landing rate. You see statistics here. You see our altitude, heading, ground speed, remaining distance, estimated arrival. There's again our vertical profile, which is pretty cool, and terrain as you're flying over it, which is quite nice. It also syncs with your screenshots. Any screenshots we took. So we took one. So I can go ahead and select that and add that to Volanta. And anyone on the network, I believe, will be able to see. They'll see that I took a screenshot here, and be able to see a shot of that from our flight. For example, here's someone in a Cessna Citation CJ4 on final approach. That looks lovely. And I think what we're looking at here is, just VATSIM, but you could also connect to Aveo, see anyone who's just using Volanta, but maybe not on the VATSIM network. I like to keep it just to VATSIM. Oh, what? I did not know about this feature. This is sick. This is sick. This is my OFP from SimBrief. Wow, and it just bookmarks all the different. Oh my God. Not all of them work, but the ones that do, this is awesome. This is so sick. Alright, yeah, we're definitely using Volanta from here on out. Absolutal. Let's see, we could also look at the past flights I took. So this is Cross the Pond. This is what we did last week. And this is the flight plan we took. And it's just such an awesome experience. But actually, let's take a look at Boston real quick. I'll give you a play-by-play of where things went wrong. So We were cleared direct to Ushin, which I'm not seeing. Where's that waypoint? Nico, Euro. Seems to be missing the star here. But at one point, I think maybe here we were cleared to Ushin, and then we were vectored, and we had to maintain speed restriction, and then we were continuing to descend. Everything looks good. You can see things start to go wrong here. So they were vectoring us wide, and they wanted us to turn in to get straight in to the runway there. But I lost control of my speed. It went back to manage speed without my telling it to. So then I had to manage trying to slow down again while also descending at the same time, which was a bit of a challenge. I was fighting the plane there, but it led to a wider than normal turn. But then I tried to activate the approach phase to intercept the localizer, but it just wouldn't listen to me. And I kept going. I kept wanting to veer to the right for some reason. So you see this kind of squiggly line every time it veers right is the autopilot trying to take over. And when it veers left is me overriding the autopilot trying to get back on target. And this happened a few cycles before I just told ATC, hey, look, I'm having serious issues with my FMS. And then they call, well, can you do the visual? And I'm here when they said, can you do the visual? And I see the runway. I'm a little to the right of it. Yeah, so I was probably around here when they said I'm good for the visual, and you know, but I didn't want to waste ATC's time for what I thought was a sim issue. So I'm like, I'm not gonna make them do a go around and resequence me. That's just gonna be a pain in the ass. I said yes, I could do the visual, but I see I'm high and I'm off center. So at that point, I kill the autopilot. I throw throttle to idle, full speed brake, and I start like a dive. I just start diving to the runway and just picking up too much airspeed even with the speed brakes and idle thrust. So then I basically had to float down half the runway. Thank God this runway was long. But I ultimately touched down right around here, about midpoint on the runway. Now you can look at the statistics here. Landing rate 450 feet per minute, which is just atrocious. That is a maintenance nightmare. But we got the plane down. I got it to a stop. The first available taxiway that I was able to take, I was slow enough, happened to be one that was nearest to the international terminal, which was convenient. But man, that was just a little bit of a shit show. So yeah, that is the reason why we are back in this half-baked mod. But we know why this all went wrong. I think if I programmed in the ILS frequency manually, I would have intercepted the localizer, and I would have had plenty of time to make any other adjustments I needed to make to get on speed, get on glide path, and land normally. So that's the whole story. That was Cross the Pond last week. Awesome experience. ATC was amazing. I think I spoke to like 15 different controllers in the entire trip. But the final approach just left a very unsatisfying taste in my mouth. Alright, let's go back to our current flight. Alright, so we're expecting top of descent somewhere around here. You can see here's our expected descent path into the runway. And there's the airport. Volanta really is an amazing tool. It's just absolutely awesome. Alright, let's get back to the flight. And we're still oscillating. Look at that. Alright folks, well while there's still some time, I'm just going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to go grab some water, but I will be right back. All right, we're back. Back in the cockpit. What'd I miss? More oscillations. Fantastic. All right, so I think this is actually a good opportunity to bring back a tradition, if you can call it a tradition. Early in this journey, which is now 44 flights long, which is nuts. We started this around the world thing back in November. I like to spend crews reading about the destinations we were flying to. And I wouldn't start with the destination itself. I would start with the airport, because I quickly discovered that the histories of airports can oftentimes be more interesting than the history of the city or town where the airport is actually located. So let's see. So we're heading to Uniform Hotel Papa Papa. It's in, I think, a state or a province called Kamchatka of Risk fame. But the city itself is called Petropavlovsk Kamchatsky. Definitely butchering that, but that's what it's called. Let's see. It is a shame that Wikipedia does not have dark mode, because this is so bright right now. Alright. Let's see what I can find. It's known as Yelizovo Airport. It is also a military airport. But serves how many passengers per year? Usually we have that data. Looks like over 1 million passengers a year, so it's not a small operation. There's a new terminal being built. It's about 2 years away from completion, although I doubt we'll see that level of detail in the sim. Yeah, actually, there's a shockingly small amount of information on this airport. Let's see. Oh, very cool. I'm going to try to see if I can share these screenshots I'm seeing here. Alright, so I think we can expect a pretty epic approach because of a geological feature that I'm seeing photos of here. So give me 1 sec, I'll throw this on the screen. Yeah, so this giant mountain showing up in a bunch of these photos. Oh, this actually looks like a scene from Flight Sim. Oh! It looks like there's custom scenery for this airport. Did I download it? Usually I would have downloaded these. I'll have to double check my community folder, but yeah, so this is where we're heading. Single runway. We'll memorize this site picture to see if it looks like this on final approach. But yeah, no, there's this giant, gorgeous, snowy mountain. So hopefully that looks pretty cool when we get there. Alright, let's look up some information about the town itself. Alright. Geez. How do you even say this?
Петропавловск-Камчатский.
Whew.
Петропавловск-Камчатский.
I don't know if you could hear that.
Петропавловск-Камчатский.
Anyway, that's the name of the town. So Petropavlovsk is city of Peter and Paul. That's a translation. And the adjective Kamchatkan was added to the official name in 1924, though it doesn't say what it means. City is situated on high hills and surrounded by volcanoes. Surrounding terrain is mountainous enough that the horizon cannot be seen clearly from any point in town. Across Avacha Bay from the city in Vilichinsk is Russia's largest submarine base, established during the Soviet period and still used by the Russian Navy. The city is 4,000 miles from Moscow and 1,300 miles from Vladivostok. So very briefly in World War II, it looks like there was a U.S. military presence here due to a short-lived agreement with the USSR. Huh. It looks like one of their main problems in the area is salmon caviar poaching. So interesting. So ethnic composition as of 2010 was 90% Russian, 4% Ukrainian, 0.8% Tatar, 0.7% Belarusian. So the climate reasonably qualifies as cool summer continental boreal climate. Strong oceanic influences. 46 inches of precipitation a year. Mostly falling as frozen precipitation, primarily snow, from November to April. And we did see on our METAR report that the weather is just above freezing. Oh my god, I have to show you this. The flag. The flag of the city is 3 volcanoes. That's entertaining. I don't know. I don't know why I found that funny. Oh, wait for it. Actually, they also have a coat of arms. It's also 3 volcanoes. Surrounded by a couple of dudes and a crown. Some swords. A couple of anchors. Because they're by the sea. Fantastic. Just fantastic. I will say this, actually, this is a lovely photo. This is the city at night. I mean, the terrain does look breathtaking. Alright, just do a nav check, make sure we are not losing track of our position. Still looking pretty good. Our predicted top of descent, yeah, still just under 40 minutes from now. Oh, and the clouds are have cleared up. Look at that. Yeah, there are the clouds behind us. I just see a lot of ocean. Oh, there's a plane flying where we're headed. There's 10,000 feet. Name's Constantine, and their home airport is Uniform Hotel Papa Papa. So we'll see. We'll see if they're still there when we arrive. That'll be fun. They probably won't be expecting a 787 just to show up. I'm currently the only flight with a filed flight plan for that airport, but interesting. Pull up Volanta again. Yeah, there they are. So it looks like they originated here, but in the sky. So maybe they only connected to VATSIM after they took off. Huh. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on them. Alright, so the tailwind component has come down quite a bit. Still looking top of descent in now exactly half an hour. Alright. About 20 minutes from top of descents. Final opportunity to chill out, relax, enjoy the scenery before things get real. It does look like our friend on Valance is coming in for a landing, so they may be gone by the time we get there. Let's see how Valance tracks this. Because there we are coming. Really hoping we could surprise this guy. Thinks his home airport is nice and quiet. But here comes a giant 787. I guess it doesn't update all that often. Oh, unless... Unless they just disconnected, perhaps. That'd be a shame. Oh yeah, they seem to be on the ground. They're taxiing at the airport. So we may miss them. Oh well. So I will say, I haven't tested this in the fly-by-wire yet, but I did the reg edit fix for stuttering and performance lag after a few hours of flight. I never really experienced issues, honestly. Like, I would get occasional stutters, like it wasn't exactly a fluid flame rate, but long-haul flights were never an issue for me, I think just because I have plenty of headroom on both the graphics card and RAM. But I changed it anyway, and I forget exactly what the bit was, but there's like this network monitoring service that maybe was having a memory leak or something, but was causing the stuttering issues in the sim. And since I turned that monitoring service off in the reg editor, it's just been butter smooth ever since. Just like, sim is running like an absolute dream. Like exterior, I'm getting 60 frames per second. On the interior, I'm getting in the high 50s, and that's even with the glass cockpits. So, pretty happy with that. Alright, about 100 miles away now from top of descent. And we'll descend via flight path angle so that we don't drop like a rock. And we'll see, we'll want to get to 11,000 feet by Papa 004. Alright, so this is predicting we'll have 12.3 tons of fuel at landing. Let's see what our flight plan predicted for us. Oh yeah, that seems kind of accurate, actually. Yeah, I think it was estimating about 11.5 tons on board at landing. Maybe the tailwinds helped. Maybe because we got up to cruise. We started our ascent to cruise pretty quick. Yep, you can see land in the distance now. Starting to see some mountains and peaks. right about 60 miles now till top of descent. And that landmass is getting closer. It's cold and snow covered. So heading back to Volanta, because I am friggin' obsessed with this tool. This is our destination tonight. It is in Russia, and we're using it as a hopover point. We'll be back in the fly-by-wire A320 afterwards, and we're going to start island hopping on our way back to the United States, into Alaska, and then we'll make our way down the Canadian western coast, to Seattle, eventually to San Francisco, and then we will start our trip back east to where we started this round-the-world journey, Newark, New Jersey. And what I'm looking forward to is, as you can see, we do these flights Eastern Time evenings, and ATC coverage in the evening across the US is pretty awesome. So I'm expecting the last half dozen flights or so to have pretty solid ATC coverage, and we'll get to hear a lot more chatter on VATSIM. But if you guys are enjoying the more laid back, the more relaxing flights, we still have a few of those left, because I rarely see Alaska online at this time. Sometimes they are, but tonight they're clearly not. So I think until we get to Canada, we'll keep having these nice, quiet, peaceful flights. Something else to look forward to is that we'll start chasing the sunset pretty soon, which will also be nice. We've been flying in the daytime for a while, and that's been great. Just kind of enjoy all the beautiful scenery that Flight Sim has to offer, but it will be nice to start seeing some dynamic sunsets. Alright, so as you can see, our top of descent predicted is around Uniform Bravo. We are going to start descent a bit earlier, because this thing drops out of the sky like a friggin' rock, the way it's currently modeled. But we're going to control our descent at a 3-degree down angle and see what that gets us. That's coming up in 40 miles. And again, to review the game plan, we are going to be our own ATC, and we're going to vector ourselves to final. Instead of following LNAV all the way through, we're going to go into heading mode, follow radial 254, and then intercept the localizer at a 45-degree angle, probably around 300 degrees, and see if we can capture the localizer that way. We'll go from 11,000 at Papa Papa 04 to 7,000 by Papa Papa 005, and then we'll get down to 2,100, which is where we intercept the glide slope. Easy. Alright, so as we're approaching top of descent, just taking a look at our descent checklist. Heads-up display we're not going to use because it's basically broken. Seatbelt sign is on. Anti-ice controls are set to auto. Nav displays, TCAS. Oh, you know, we never actually turned on our transponder. But are we squawking mode C? We are not. We are not. Good thing ATC is not online. Alright, we're squawking it now. Goodness. Alright. METAR and ADAS we've checked. We should check, actually. I'm going to check on Google real quick and see if there is an updated METAR for where we're heading. So make sure we're using the right QNH. Alright. 3 Zulu. That is definitely the most recent. QNH 1004. How does that compare to our flight plan? Let's see. QNH 1001. So pressure has increased. So we'll use 1004. And if we're in doubt, we'll just hit the Bravo key and it will fix it for us. Alright, we're getting pretty close now, so I will get 11,000 plugged in here. Don't want to push it. There we go, 11,000. We'll go to flight path angle. Alright, coming out about 100 miles from Papa 004. So let's do it. Oh, do I have to activate it first? 3-degree down angle. Well, that is doing nothing for our descent. Alright. We'll do vertical speed then. We'll do vertical speed of 2,500. And what is that doing? Yeah, that profile looks pretty good actually. We'll get there with time to spare, but not too much. Let's get the terrain radar on now. And what is transition level around here? 9,000. Okay, so it's actually pretty low. So we won't go to local QNH until we clear ourselves down to 7,000. Which will be on our way to Papa 05. We are picking up some speed. We're now at Mach 0.87, but you can see the thrust is constantly adjusting to try to compensate for that. As we get into thicker air, it'll probably be easier to maintain speed. Oh, interesting. I can't actually turn this off. but we'll see how this changes as we descend, because it will go back. It should go back to indicated airspeed as we get low enough. There, indicate airspeed. All right, we're approaching our calculated top of descent. All right, returning direct to Samick. Which is the beginning of our star. And flight level 110 is perfectly fine. So what I really like about the heavy division, and there are a lot of things I do like about this. I know I rag on the mod quite a bit, but it does have the missed approach procedure already pre-programmed in. That's something that the fly-by-wire doesn't have yet. Let's just get this heading bug adjusted. Ah, we have a friend. Stand 7 push and startup. Let's go to Volanta. Oh. There you are. What's your flight plan, friend? You Uniform Hotel, Hotel, Hotel. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Heading to the mainland. Cool, so they will be there when we arrive. What kind of plane are you? Boeing 732. Nice. Alright. Fun times. We'll use the radio, of course. We won't use text. But now I need to practice how to actually say this airport name. Oh, man, yeah, I'm not going to say that. Oh, Yelizovo. I'll just say Yelizovo traffic. I mean, they'll know what I'm talking about. I'm the only plane in the area. Anyway. Alright, we're now going to hit 11,000 before Samek. So we got down faster than we anticipated. So, you know, I've heard from real 787 pilots that you do 7x, not 7x, sorry, 4x your altitude difference in miles, and that's how far ahead you need to begin your top of descent. Judging by how quickly we got down, the standard rule of thumb of 3 seems to be appropriate the way this is modeled in the sim. Because yeah, we got here pretty early. I think the difference between 4x and 3x would have made the difference. Oh, you're kidding, Mo Daddy. Sorry to hear that. On a new SSD, that's interesting. Oh. Yeah, I've never attempted to change the install path. Oh. Yeah, I'm definitely not as advanced as you. I have one SSD. Yeah, I hear ya. All right. I'm curious what will happen. Once we get to 11,000, will it automatically go back to Vnav? It's definitely reducing our descent rate. Yeah, that's a great question. Where am I flying to? Uniform Hotel Papa Papa. It is a little peninsula in Russia. It's our, let me hop over to Atlanta one last time. It's the best option we had for a 2-hour hop from Sapporo. And from here, we will start making our way along these string of islands back to Alaska and the US. But this was the best airport, the longest runway, within about 2.5 hours of where we were. So that's why we chose to come to Petropavlovsk Kamchatsky. Can't pronounce it well at all. But that's also why we're flying Ukraine International, because it just felt like a better option than Aeroflot at this point. All right, what are we in? I guess we're back at indicated airspeed. Can I go back to Vnav at this point? Yes. Did that freak it out? Oh, well, it's getting us to 250 knots. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because we're pretty close to 10,000 feet. And I don't mind going a little slower, honestly. Oh, and you know what? This is probably our Vnav setting for descent. Yep. Alright, they're taxiing to the runway. They should be no factor for us. but we'll keep an eye on it. Alright, so there's Papa 004 in about 40 miles. Once we cross there, we will get ourselves down to 7,000 feet. And we'll prepare for vectoring. Getting some blips on the terrain radar. We might actually get to see the sky take off from the air, which would be fun, depending on the cloud cover. What a mildly desolate place. Still quite beautiful, though. Alright, so just in the interest of reducing workload, I'm going to get this heading bug to 254, just in preparation. We're picking up the ILS. It's already an improvement over last week. I feel like such an idiot. Here we go, 254. But no, this is a great sign. I mean, this was one of the approach checks, and I just assumed it was going to come alive. I noticed that it wasn't showing up on my PFD, but didn't troubleshoot it well in advance. That was my bad. Pretty significant pilot error. Alright, can we see the airport yet? It's what? It's about 10 miles in front. Oh yeah, there's the airport. My VATSIM settings should be rendering the plane, but it might still just be too far for us to see, and this cloud haze is not helping. Double check my V pilot, I'm on the right frequency, and I am. Okay. Nothing on the TCAS. Oh, yeah, I see an airplane moving down there. They're still taxiing. It'll be fascinating to see if they actually become a factor. Oh no, actually no, I see them on the top of the runway. Those are their strobe lights. Oh no, no, those are the runway lights, forgive me. No, I think that is them. It's kind of hard to see from here. Alright. We'll get ready for our next step descent. And we're turning, and let's go. Idle Vnav speed. You can see now because we're not doing vertical speed descent, we are just dropping like a fly. And our speed is going nuts. So the Vnav descent profile is just like complete bonkers. So this is actually nuts. I'm not going to let it do that. I'm going to go back to vertical speed mode, control that a bit, because we want to stick to our speed restrictions. Indicated airspeed 240, that looks good. Alright, so at this point I'm going to clear myself down to 2000. And go into heading mode in a sec. So I'm going to make this turn a bit wider. Go back to path. Heading select, speed. We'll do a bit of a longer descent here. Apply a little speed brake. Oh no, I see we're at 240. Let's slow down to 220. So we can start configuring. Now we'll apply some speed brake to help us get down there a bit faster. The auto throttle doesn't seem to like that. Flap 1. Doesn't indicate on the screen, which is interesting. So let's get down to 205. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it wasn't... okay. It made it seem like it was trying to do 2,500 feet lower, but... oh, they're lining up. Good, plenty of time. I gave them a longer downwind, so this is actually this is probably working out well. Speed brake. Help it get down. And let's go to heading 254 at this point. Yeah, it just doesn't hold airspeed well. Like, it should be going to idle. Kill that rate of descent a bit, because the speed is just not manageable. All right, good. All right, so let's turn to 300 at this point. Try to intercept that glide slope. We should get off of standard. Barrow. That explains it. We were a bit low. Go down to flap 5. We'll activate the approach. It's picking up the localizer. Good. Good. Loc. So we were taking a very long final. That's fine. I wanted to make sure we did this right. And we gave that other aircraft plenty of time to take off. The rest of our approach checklist here. I think we're pretty good. That terrain radar is pretty money. I'm going to see where the 10-mile point is. Fast map up to 0-1, so we're 15 miles out. Oh, we should put in our approach settings here. Vnav. Where is that page? Oh, I know where it is. Init ref approach. Alright, so we'll do flaps 25, 137 knots. So our final approach speed will be 142. Yelizova traffic, Ukraine International 9084 on 10-mile final for runway 34 left ILS. Yelizova traffic. Alright, let's start slowing down some more. Get down to 170. Flap 10. Quite the crosswind right now, but that should dissipate as we get lower. Glide slip is armed. Flap 15. Flap 20. 7 miles out, gear down. Speed brake armed. Auto brake set, landing checklist, auto throttle is still on. Let's get down to ref speed 142. And flap 25. There it is. And once we're stabilized in the approach, then I'll turn everything off. Glide slope is locked. Let's get my sight picture ready to go. One thousand. All right, disconnect. Sinking a little bit. A little high.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Floating. Oh man. Reverse thrust. $70 knots. Rolling out. All right, we've had worse landings. We have had worse landings. Oh, that's where we wanted to go. Whoop, totally missed that turn. Whoops, don't tell anyone. I think we saved that. All right. Yellow Zova traffic, Ukraine International 9084 is clear of runway 34 left. Yellow Zova traffic. So flaps up, spoilers disarmed. Taxi lights on, landing lights off. Hey, Coach Wilson, thank you for the raid. Really appreciate it. Welcome, guys. I just landed, so you're coming towards the end of this thing. But pretty scenery to enjoy on the way in. We're doing our post-landing checks here. Hey, Coach Wilson. Oh, thanks for the follow, Coach. Appreciate it. Hey, Cass, how are you doing? Are you part of this raid party? Is that how you all came to be here? I know. Sorry, Sonny. Sorry about that. It was a very uneventful flight. You missed nothing. Thanks for the follow, Sonny. Appreciate it. It's the most satisfying sound in the world is that follow button. What am I doing? What am I even doing? Auto throttle can come off. We're listing to the left lazily. Alright. Everything else looks fine. Oh, APU. We gotta get that APU going before we get to the gates. Monitor the system page. And that is coming on. Perfect. Thanks, Cass. Appreciate it. Where are you guys coming from? Were you streaming Flight Sim or something else? Yeah, pow, indeed. Yeah, no, actually, let's take an exterior look. We are in. Oh, someone's on VATSIM. Look at that. Who else is here? I thought no one would be here. Yeah, no, we're like some random place in Russia. This is a stopover on our way back to the United States. We're doing a around the world journey, and this is the 44th leg of it. We left Sapporo, Japan. Now we're in this Bumble F Russia, and then we'll be heading to Alaska next. No, we're like 4,000 miles east of Moscow. I'll show you. I'm just going to assume that this is a stand right in front of me. Oh, it's an Airbus A380. Look at that. Yeah, right? Hey, Ivan, how's it going? Everyone just decided to join the party right at the end of the stream. Oh, man. You guys. King Coach. Who is King Coach? I need to know. Is this Coach Wilson that you're referring to? Oh, Mystery Series. Nice. I've never done a watch party on Twitch. Oh, I'm going to hit this building. Shit. Hold on. Brakes. Brake. Oh, yeah, Cass, I remember you were saying, oh, yeah, no, this livery is friggin' awesome. But Cass, yeah, I remember we were talking about how much you enjoyed flying in Japan. Sorry you had to miss it. I do apologize for that. What are we doing here? We are at some stand. Going to put the parking brake on. APU is running, so we'll shut those engines down. And seatbelt signs can come off. This is for a short flight. Oh, what's the delivery? Coach Wilson, a livery is what we refer to as the paint job on the airplane. Why are my speed brakes still up? That's weird. Oh. Because according to that, okay, that was strange. There they go. Now they're down. All right. I gotta be professional here. I'm supposed to be like a professional streamer. Alright, so engine shutdown, parking brakes are set, engine generators are off, external power can come on. It's not available because there's no ground power control. Taxi lights off, strobes off, runway turn off lights off, beacon off. Yeah, Coach Wilson, if you think this is realistic, I'm in this particular plane because I participated in a virtual ATC event last week called VATSIM across the pond, where 1,000 pilots did concurrent flights in real time from Europe to North America. And the plane I usually fly, the Airbus A320, it's the most realistic available in the sim. It doesn't have the range to cross the ocean. So I had to use this one, which is slightly less realistic. Not everything is modeled. Not everything actually works. But it got me across the ocean. But on my final approach, it just crapped out on me. And I'm like, that was so unsatisfying. I had to fly it one more time just to prove I could actually land the damn thing. And I just did. You all missed it. Sorry. But next flight will be back in the Airbus A320, and that is the shit. That is the most realistic commercial airliner in Microsoft Flight Sim right now. And it's a lot of fun to fly. God, it's so happy you guys are here. All right, let's complete the shutdown procedure. All right, all the things I need to do on this checklist do not work in the plane, so I'm just going to wing it, and we'll shut this thing down ourselves. So the APU is running. That means we have power as long as that is running, and we can turn the nav and logo lights off at this point. Get the anti-ice turned off. We can turn off the fuel pumps because the engines are off. Autopilot's off. That all looks good. I think we're pretty much ready. Oh, we could turn our transponder off as well. Oh, look, my chatbot is working. Yeah, so Sunny, I fly with all the safeties and assists and protections off. So it's supposed to be the most realistic model possible in the sim. So if I land too hard, if I take off with the door open, if I overstress the airplane in terms of G-force, it will register a crash. It will tell me I crashed and I did bad things. Oh, my APU shut down on its own. That's weird. All right, well, let's shut that down. And let's turn the battery off. Oh, well, the IRS should turn off as well. That's our navigation. And battery. And there we go. Cold and dark. We turned it off. Yeah, seriously. Ivan, I put a lot of work into my chatbot, but I haven't really been able to test it recently because I haven't had a critical mass of viewers here. But anyway, we're done here. So, like... Very nice. I'm going to hop over to Volanta real quick. You might get a kick out of this. This is a software application that tracks your flights, but also is connected to the VATSIM network. So all these little airplane bips are other pilots flying on VATSIM, which is the virtual ATC network. And anywhere you see a blue outline, that's where air traffic control is currently live. As you can see, where we are here in Bumblefuck, Russia, there's no ATC coverage. But that plane we saw on the way in, there's us. Yeah, there's our friend flying in an A380. And Volanta actually tells you the flight route he tracked. So you can see in 3 dimensions his flight path. We could also do the same for ours. So this is our flight from Sapporo. There's our ascent profile and our flight route. And looking at statistics, my landing rate, nailed it. 242 feet per minute. If it was over 250, that would be a shitty landing. Still pretty hard, but I am happy with that. All right, back to the sim. It is freaking cold. Add the weather command. What's the weather command? Oh, can you program Twitch, so if you do like exclamation point METAR, it will actually give you the weather where I am? That'd be a really cool feature, actually. The METAR. Oh my god. Okay, yes. Yes, I will look into that because that sounds freaking awesome. I did program the 8-ball, though. So if you guys want to try the 8-ball, I pre-programmed it with a bunch of like really silly aviation jargon. It's really stupid. Do you guys know the how to do the 8-ball game? Let's see. I feel like someone's typing it in right now. I'm just giving y'all a few seconds before I do it myself. Yes, it works. Oh man, Wilco is shorthand for will comply. It's an ATC response. It's legit, I promise. All right, how are you guys feeling? Do you guys want to like smash the follow button and then should we raid someone else? I've never done a raid before. I feel like this might be a good first time since you guys were kind of cheated out of most of my flight. All right, type/raid. Oh, do you have to do it one at a time? I see a raid channel button in my control here. Double raid. Okay, I don't want to mess this up though. Oh, okay, I could pick a channel. So there's a couple of folks. Oh, Young Tex is online. He's playing Dying Light. That sound appealing to you guys? Should I just do that one? A double raid. Sunray K. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So I do /raid sun. Hey Shark, how's it going? We're about to raid someone. If I do this right, Sunray K. Oh, awesome! Here we go. Oh, thanks for the follow, Shark. Appreciate it. Oh, raid now. Here we do it. All right, we're going. We're going.